it's actually working this time. Hang on, I just need to check audio. I think it's actually working this time. Yep. Alright. Sorry about the complications. The licensing for it apparently expired, and that's stupid because I've already got it. I own the licensing to it, so yeah. Nevertheless, guys, we're back after technical difficulties, and with part 2, it only took me about 10 attempts to get it running again, but we've just finished Sam's part of the story for the family tree. But nevertheless, guys, I wasn't giving up on the stream. That was a load of bullcrap how it just cut out on me like that. Don't tell me they stuffed the cat. But nevertheless, guys, we're finishing this game. So yeah, this is going to be a 2-part stream now because the licensing screwed me
Instead
over.
of hiding from death, Sam seemed to go out of his way to meet it.
Yeah, I know. That's it. And can I look through that? No? Okay. So yeah, apologies on the stream conking out. But nevertheless, we are back. And we already got one person watching. Welcome back. I don't know where I was now. I'm completely just, yeah. That's really disappointed me, guys, out conked out like that, but over licensing as well. The message came up, but I ignored it. I should have done something about it. So, what am I meant to do? I obviously can't take that out. Yeah. So this is going to be a 2-part stream now, guys.
After
so yeah.
Sam died, my mom and Edie got really close. They'd both lost a lot.
So if you haven't already, guys, make sure you go back onto the first part of the stream and give it a like. And same for this one, drop a like. Subscribe if you haven't already, become part of the Sleeper Squad today, and hit that notification bell so you do not miss when we go live. Hopefully we don't have any more dramas. So this is Gregory. Hang on a minute. No, I wanted to... Pick it back up, Edith. Stop being stupid. Okay, so... Okay, apparently we can't read the other one.
Do you remember the way Gregory used to laugh when he thought he was alone? Like something funny was happening, but only he could see it. I think he saw things the rest of us don't.
ballet now.
Whatever it was, he saw. It sure made him happy.
They're gonna knock the letters off the side of the bathtub. Gravy.
I know how silly it sounds. But I worried about a baby being too happy. But I could feel him slipping away.
Sorry about that, Gregory.
I know you did everything you could. Maybe if I hadn't called that night.
Bino, welcome back. This is the funniest thing I've seen on your stream. Sleep. What, me doing a ballet with bath toys? Yeah, that's basically what it was. And then we added the bubble bath and things really started to... So what am I meant to do now? Yeet.
I wish he could have told us about the world he saw.
Ah, we're not worried about Mum. Mum can turn our bath off, but we'll
So
just
much I don't understand
turn it back on.
about Gregory.
Now we're the frog.
Everything. But I know what happened wasn't your fault. I'm sure he's happy. He'd want you to be happy too.
I don't
Good
even
luck,
know
Kate.
what we just did, but
Love,
yeah.
Sam.
Ribbit. Well, that fills in Gregory and his frog. No, he wasn't like, nah, not like that. Wasn't playing with Kermit, he became Kermit. Alright. Well, we got another person who's come back in the stream. Welcome. Apologies for the screw up from before. The licensing decided to cut out. Respect, teamwork, strength. They had an evacuation plan for their own house. House rules: no playing outside without permission, no answering the door for strangers, no messes after dark, all chores before dark, respect others.
I can't imagine my mom ever writing poetry, and yet... A poem for Gus, who always said the wedding was a bad idea. Our father never hit us kids, at least not very hard, before the day my brother said with teenage disregard that he'd be dead before he'd see a wedding in our yard. Gus stood far apart, just flew his kite and bottled up the storm inside his heart.
Flying my kite.
I tried to talk him out of it, but though
All
he'd never
day
met
and all
me,
night.
we don't need a stepmom, were the words that I
now pronounce you husband and wife. You may kiss the bride.
Yeah, kiss the bride. Mwah, mwah, mwah. I'ma just fly my kite.
photos came, Dad ordered him to come here. But Gus declined, and as a sign held up his middle finger.
Yeah, Gus! Yeah, fuck you, Dad.
The wind picked up, and panicked geese appeared and quickly went. But all the humans did that day was go inside the tent. The rain came down in buckets then, but no one seemed afraid that nature might destroy the tent our dad had crudely made. The thunder sounded much too close and full of angry power. But all my father said to this was, "Make the music louder."
Lovely day for a wedding. Where do I go with it? There we go. I got your 10. I got your 10. Oh no, now the 10's got me.
I wish that I could truly say I thought about you on that day. Out there on the beach alone, just you, the wind, the sea and foam.
Woo.
But I didn't. Until we found you.
That just made me tingle a little.
She never
That's
talked
Gus.
about it, but Mom told me once if I was a boy, they were going to name me Gus.
I like Gus. Welcome back, Joker. What did you miss? You missed the stream conking out over stupid licensing, so I had to start the stream up again. So now this will be a two-part stream, but welcome back. And all you've missed so far is we've done Gregory and Gus, and you just missed the funniest shit. Gus flipped off his dad. Good shit. I don't know why there isn't one for Dawn. Why is that drawer open too? I can't get to it because of the support beam. Ugh. Yay, sleeper. Welcome back, girls. Ooh.
My mom moved up to the
Rock
loft after
climbing.
her brothers died. At the time, it was as far away as she could get.
Interesting looking rug. Oh.
Religion was another thing my mom never talked about, but I think it helped her a lot after her dad died. She spent a summer building houses in Calcutta, where she met my dad, Sanjay.
Ah, so that's where Sanjay fits into the picture. There's a lot of post-it notes. And I'm assuming that's, oh, what's the name of it? Punjabi writing, I think. I'm not being racist and I'm only taking a stab in the dark. Please don't hate me, guys. How much does this game cost? Well, I got it for free through the monthlies, so I don't know. But I can look into it for you, Ledge. Hmm. 10 ways to teach critical thinking. Oh.
My mom moved to India a week after graduation and got a job teaching English. Lewis was born a year later.
I feel like the whole time we've been ascending.
When my dad died, I don't think Mom knew where else to go. I'm sure Edie was happy to have her back.
Oh, they had a herb garden. And plenty more cans of fish. You know, that's like the 100th or more bloody can of fish I've seen. Oh, they all
and to see
had...
kids in the house again.
Oh, we all had herb gardens. Even I had a herb garden. That's not a herb garden. That's more like a mess. Well, I mean, of course, everything here is dead because of how long it's been left. Dawn had a fairly big one too.
The house had to get a little bigger, but Edie was used to that. And for a while, things were good. Almost normal.
So that's the names of everybody. Lewis rules. You'll not find any pets dead because they're already all out in the cemetery, which is out there somewhere, but yeah.
But it didn't last. The beginning of the end was Milton's 10th birthday, when Edie gave him a castle.
Nice doormat. I like that. Can I look in? Yeah, there we go.
After Milton disappeared, the only thing he left behind was a room full of paintings.
Yep. Room full of paintings is exactly what's in there. But how do I get in there? That's the question. Ah. Window, of course. That looks like a giant footprint. Interesting.
I think Edie was happy to finally have another painter in the family. Why do I get the feeling that he was meant to be like an architect? Because most people that are good at drawing like landscapes and things like that are the perfect people for architecture. I want to see Sleep shit himself because of a jump scare. Oh well, you may still get that yet. Okay, so obviously there's nothing else we can do in here. What about around the back? Nah, nothing. Nothing around the back. Nothing down there, except for the cemetery, the treehouse. But we're not done yet. We haven't even reached the top. We're nowhere near.
told me to stay out of Lewis's room.
I wonder why. Oh, jeez. I wonder why Edith got told to stay out of Lewis's room. Can you tell, guys? Could you tell? I don't think I can. Nah, I couldn't tell at all. Not in this game, Ledge. Oh, aren't there any jump scares in this game? I thought there was. I mean, like, I've come close to a few jump scares. There's a few that kind of got me off guard. Maybe your room, Ledge, but it ain't mine. The neon, yes. The rest of it, no. How the hell do I get into it, though? That's the question. He lived in a boat.
Lewis's room smelled very, very familiar. That part of him lived on.
I wonder what it smelled like. The picture next to it is kind of like how the Edith no comment. Yep. Lewis was a pot smoker. He had a sick gaming setup though. You gotta give him that. I think he had a Logitech G19 from the look of it. Because my keyboard is actually strangely familiar to this. Very similar. I even had the gaming headset. Oh, come on, dude. This guy had the setup of dreams. Not too flash on the monitors though, but yeah. Oh, hang on. He had a letter. That slow effect. Pulling it out. What have we got?
Dear Mrs. Finch, as Lewis's psychiatrist, I can understand your desire for an explanation. As I see it, the trouble began in January, shortly after we convinced your son to seek treatment for substance abuse. Newly sober, I believe Lewis first noticed the monotony of his daily life. He kept working at the cannery, but he withdrew part of himself. In our sessions, I saw the same behavior. His mind began to wander. I asked him to describe it. He said he started small. Imagining a labyrinth. He'd feel his way about. Then something moved. Bats. And toads.
How do we...
And things that have not names. He knew it was all in his head. He took it very seriously. I had hoped he'd find himself. But he found something more. I worried about him then. daydreaming at the cannery.
Still doing my job.
I spoke with his boss. But he said Lewis had become a model employee. Methodical, tireless, focused. Like a whole new Lewis. So I let him go on. I even encouraged him. It seemed very promising at first. He told me he'd made a new friend. On the edge of a city he named Lewis Topia. He built the city up slowly, brick by brick. Then he made musicians.
Drinks to the side. Yeah.
And songs for them to play. He talked about starting a band.
Oh no, now he's got
And
the
he was
tuba
always
player
humming
behind him. I thought that was reserved for the fat people.
Every day his imagination grew stronger.
Oh god, now they got the bloody...
He no longer spoke at the cannery,
the fish.
but his chopping was as reliable as ever. Then one day it struck him that all the cheering crowds, even the stones under his feet, were all in his imagination. So he could do whatever he wished. He held an election for mayor. And he won. They begged him to stay, but his mind was already wandering. It became a game for him.
Oh. Hang on.
He'd conquer a city, then immediately push on. New Louisville. St. Louis. He started drifting away from our reality. Minneapolis. Until one day he forgot to go home from the cannery.
Well,
Even as his mother pleaded with him, part of Lewis kept sailing on. In Lewisburg, he heard rumors of a handsome queen.
handsome queen, eh?
The queen was on her own quest for sinister serpents. He followed the sound of her silver harp. His chase led him to a golden palace east of the sun and west of the moon. Even then, his logic remained sound. He knew the world was all in his imagination. But he was so proud of having created it. In his own eyes, he'd become something greater than a king. For someone who'd never known success in the real world, I think it was overwhelming. And then it struck him that the real Lewis was not the steps of a golden palace. My imagination is as real as my body, he told me. It was hard to argue with him.
Well, that was certainly freaky.
We began to forget the world we know.
That's what a Nintendo Switch should look like before it got thought of, I reckon.
I think it pained him to remember Lewis, the cannery worker.
This must be his mother.
He began to despise the man with a royal contempt.
He's not even cutting the fish.
I still thought I could save him. Even after he said he was being crowned king over all the lands of wonder. The palace would be packed with his companions.
This is really weird.
Including the wise Calico who'd insisted on advising him. Queen waited, holding his crown.
Nearly poked me in the eye with his spear.
There was only one thing left to do. Bend down his head. I think you know. Mrs. Finch, your son was a kind man who will be missed by all of us who knew him.
He turned into the fish. Blub, blub.
My brother was really cool. I wish you could have met him.
Yeah, I wish Ledge could have met him. No, Ledge wishes he met Lewis. Yeah. Am I right? Well, that was certainly an interesting letter.
Lewis and I spent a lot of time playing games together, but he was surprisingly bad at them. He died a lot.
nice pad. Oh, he's got the tie-dye roof and all.
He was so proud of being Indian. I think for him, it was a way to be something other than just a Finch.
Oh, well, I mean, originality is key. Actually, hang on. Stream's lagging a little bit. There we go. Now we're back.
On the way back from Lewis's funeral, my mom told me to start packing. She waited until the day before we left to tell Edie. I'm not sure if she wanted to make it easier or harder. I wish we'd stayed. But I understand why we left.
Oh, water filter. I'm trying to get one of those for my tap, actually. Edith. Jeez. Nothing left.
My mom ended up leaving everything behind. What happened that night had been coming for a long time. Maybe it should have come sooner. But it had to end one way or another. All that's left now is to tell you about that last night. That whole last day, Edie just watched us pack and didn't say a word. Until supper, when she raised her glass and said,
"To our final night together, and all our final nights apart."
Grandma, you know what I said about alcohol. Some of your medications are very
Edith,
specific.
I left a present for you in the hallway. Why don't you go open it? The grown-ups have to argue now.
I'm sorry, you're right. We're all leaving tomorrow. Let's just enjoy our last...
I'm not leaving.
Edith, you're excused.
Damn.
the power had been shut off that morning, but Edie always had plenty of candles. When my mom sealed the library, I don't think she knew about the other entrance. Or that Edie had a key to it.
It's very dark.
That thing you're afraid of isn't going to end when you leave the house.
No, it won't.
Edith has a right to know these stories.
My children are dead because of your stories. I think it's best if Edith and I leave tonight. We'll have the nursing home send a van for you in the morning, okay?
Dear Edith, there's so many stories I wish I could tell you, but there's only time for one. This is about what happened on the night you were born.
1999.
That night, the tide went way, way out.
Way out. And I'm assuming this is where we go to the old house?
It was the first and last time I ever saw the old house aground. There'd been an earthquake out in the middle of the ocean. They called it the lowest tide in 1,000 years. God, it smelled awful. You know, I I've seen that house every day of my life. But I never thought I'd go back to it.
So wait, I think
When
we're
the
playing as
fog
Edith.
rolled in,
No, not Edith.
I lost my
Edie.
way. I got turned around. I started seeing things.
Danby's back after getting shot.
Things I'd forgotten had ever existed. But when I saw them, they felt like old friends. That night, a lot of things came back to me. Or maybe I came back to them. Things I can't explain, but that I need you to try and...
Edith, what are you doing in here?
It's mine.
Edith!
Mom, you're gonna rip it. Let go.
I kicked and screamed, but Mom dragged me to the car. I never saw Great-Grandma Edie again. The next morning, the band came to pick her up, but she was already gone. After that, we moved around a lot. We
Any
both
of yous
tried to
do
make the
this?
best of it.
When you're driving in the car down the highway, you ever put your hand out the window and just go...
A few years went by.
It's good fun.
My mom didn't like to talk about it. But she started getting sick a lot. The rest happened pretty quickly. She got better for a while, and then she didn't. And then I was alone. The last Finch left alive. Until I found out about you. I'm still not sure what to tell you about all this. If we lived forever, maybe we'd have time to understand things. But as it is, I think the best we can do is try to open our eyes. And appreciate how strange and brief all of this is. This journal was supposed to be for you. But now I hope you'll never see it. I just want to meet you and tell you all these stories myself. But I guess if you're reading this now, things didn't work out that way.
No.
This is where your story begins. I'm sorry I won't be there to see it. It's a lot to ask, but I don't want you to be sad that I'm gone. I want you to be amazed that any of us ever had a chance to be here at all. Good luck.
Wait. the end? I think that might be the end, guys. Yep. I think that's the end. Very interesting. The Curse of the Finch family? Yeah. Oh, well, we got another trophy. Thoughts? Very lost. Very lost. I mean, like, I understand, like, the basic, you know, principle behind it, but it was just weird how they explained it. I will say that the graphics are absolutely insane. Yeah, that Dreadful Stories is what got me with the jump scare. Yep, I think it's just cut out again. Yep.